Hey everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Today I thought I would bring you a video as I'm going to be making some rainbow embeds. So everyone wants to know how to do these, and then you can pop them in your bath bombs. And for anyone that doesn't know why you would use these, it will just create that gorgeous fun color in the bath. You know, if you've ever seen the videos and the purple and pink and yellow and so on just swirling around in the bath makes it look absolutely amazing, and the kiddies love it. So anyway, let's get going and I'll show you exactly what we're going to need. So in front of me, I do have here the dyes that I'm going to be using. I am going to be using these dyes from Sud Off in Australia. So if you want to go and find them, just pop onto their website. It's just sudoff.com.au. And so we're going to be using this one, which is the Extreme Cherry, and that one's a nice bright red. They do also have one called Acid Red, and that will give you a hot pink if you're sort of looking for that one instead. And then we're going to be using this particular one, which is the yellow. They all have the codes and everything that you'll need to pop onto your bath bombs as well. So do remember when you're using these, they all have individual little codes on them, and those codes mean just the dye lots and the ingredients and so on that are inside it. So those little codes just really help everyone to define the exact color that has gone into it, because some people are allergic to certain colors, so that's really important to remember. And then of course we're going to be using this one, which is the blue. This is a mix of different blues, and then of course we have this teal green, which is one of my favorite ones, and it really does make everything pop. And lots of people will say to me, can I use micas if I'm going to be doing this? No, you can't use micas, because micas just won't give this sort of color flash. Micas just make it really pale in comparison to these. So these are actual dyes that are designed and suitable for bath bombs as well. And if you're in Australia, you need to use things like this because some micas people might be allergic to. So try and stick to these if you can. I do use micas as well in bath bombs, but certain countries you cannot put micas in bath bombs. So it's really important just to remember those things. But anyway, like I said, these are the colors we are going to use. So I'll pop these out of the way first, and then of course you will need a container for each one, because we're going to be mixing it. So we're going to be doing a mix of the dye, some water, and some glycerin. The glycerin just helps the embed stay a little bit soft so that we can cut it, and then it will harden up at a later date. So this is the glycerin that I am going to be using. You can get it from many places, you know, Heirloom and Essentials if you're in Australia. Also Aussie Candles, which I've got this from. I'm pretty sure I got it from Aussie. Yeah, I did. And I've had this one for so long, because you only use it in small amounts of things. So I don't use it very often, but I am going to be using it for this. If you don't want to use glycerin because you're worried if you're allergic or anything like that, you can leave this bit out and just do the water. It just won't be as soft, and you will need to cut it straight away. So that's what we're going to use. And then of course in this bucket here, I have my typical citric acid. We do need some citric acid. As most people know, that is one of the main things for the bath bombs. And the main reason I'm going to be putting the citric acid in is it literally forces the color out of the bath bomb. Without it, it will just slowly trickle out and it just won't look as good. So you definitely need that in it. If you want a tiny bit of foaming, you can put some SLSA. I will put a real tiny bit of SLSA, probably only a teaspoon. So you really don't need much. But once again, you can leave that out if you don't have it. It's not necessary to put in the embeds as well. It's just that I like to do that because most people that see me want the foaming and the fizz. So if you want both, definitely you need to put those in. And I will grab my last bit down here. And then this is the bicarbonate soda I use. It is a food grade, and it's an American one. Of course, you can see the US flag on there. So we get this shipped in, and I actually buy most of this from Heirloom Australia or Aussie Candles. These came from Heirloom, and they're massive big bags. So I can't remember the bags. I'm going to say 20 kilos or something, but I might be wrong. And I usually get 4 or 5 bags at once, and they're only $60 for a massive bag. So they're really, really cheap. So don't go buying it at your local supermarket. It's really expensive. So if you can get online, just even buy one bag for $60. If you work it out in those little tins you get at your local supermarket, it would end up costing you about $400 to $500 in comparison to $60. You know, if you work out the cost they're charging you there. And of course, it's in small containers, so you're buying the container. That's the one thing to remember, is often anything in small containers costs more because obviously they have to package in small containers, and then the containers, the branding, everything costs money. So you're often just paying for that. So that's a really important thing to remember. So anyway, I've got all this ready, and of course I need my water. So I'm just going to get the water ready and come back. For me, if you can, I really do advise that you use boiling water with these dyes, because it will literally just dissolve it straight away. This particular one that I have, this yellow one, it is really grainy. So without the boiling water, it just won't stir properly. So I really do advise that you use hot water. But anyway, let me organize all of this and we'll get going. And of course, do remember we do have 4 containers, so we do also have 4 separate containers that we're going to be popping it in. So I've got all my containers here. You could just use an old container. It could be an old margarine or butter container that you've just rinsed out and cleaned and sanitized, and then you could use that as well. So do make sure all your equipment is clean, and we're getting everything ready to organize it. So let's go, and I'll get everything ready and I'll come back and then we can get up to the next step. All right, everyone, so we're back again for the next step. So in here we have our 4 containers. We just want to get the dye ready. So I know it sounds like a long process, but it's not. Once you get used to this, it'll be really fast. So what I usually do is I have an isopol stick just for each one so that I can mix it, because you don't want to be mixing it with the same spoon and making it all messy. So here I do have my 3 different spoons here. You can buy these in sets. I think this one was a Kmart one for about $3 for a big set. So I have the 1/4 spoon that I need, the 1/2 spoon I need, and the full spoon that I need. So, you know, these are just 1/4 teaspoons and tablespoons, and that's all you need to do. So for here, I have this one here. So this one here is just my 1/4 tablespoon. So that is more than fine. And we're going to be doing 1/4 a tablespoon just of each of these particular dyes. So we'll just put 1 in each. So the red one will be in that one. We'll put the lid on. Make sure you put the lid on, and do make sure you're wearing gloves. These will 100% stain your hands if you do not. Vitally important. And if you want to do more color later on, you can, but we're only going to be doing a small amount of each one. So this is more than fine. My advice is definitely to do all of these 2 in one group, because the thing with this is if you don't get them all ready together, then you're going to have a big problem, because you don't want the mixture to dry out in between mixing it and popping it straight in. So I usually try and make sure I've done all of this and I've got everything ready. And that way for the next step, it's not so bad. I don't need to sort of panic or worry at all. So like I said, we've got everything in here that we need for now. And now we're going to be, all we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding in some water. So here we're going to be using our teaspoon here as well. And I think I said 1/4 tablespoon. Sorry, it's 1/4 teaspoon, not a tablespoon. So anyway, so we've got our teaspoon here, and now we're just going to be putting in 1 of water. So I have boiled this water in the kettle, and so we're just going to be popping 1 in each, and then we're going to mix each one, obviously, and then we will be putting in some glycerin as well. And you know, don't stress too much about the color, because really if you think it's too much, then you don't need to put all of it into your mixture. So you know, I just sort of keep it in these containers and then go along. I will show you this one. It's really, really grainy, just so that you know how I was talking about the yellow. So if you don't mix the yellow with the hot water, it will be really grainy and yuck. So I do suggest that you definitely use hot water and mix them in straight away. Don't leave them sitting there, because otherwise the water will sit on top. And then of course we'll just mix in this last one, making sure the water's on everything. And these ones are totally mixed. So now we have all of our colors. I'll just wipe my bench because I've got a bit of blue on there. And we'll just wipe that off straight away, because like I said, this stuff does stain and it gets everywhere. So all it was one tiny bit, and if you can have a look, is blue everywhere all over that. So anyway, just make sure you have cloths and everything ready. So now we've got the first bit ready, and all we're going to be doing now is getting our glycerin. Like I said, you know, if you don't have glycerin or you don't want to use it, you definitely don't need to. So I'm going to be using on this half a teaspoon of glycerin as well. So I'm just going to be pouring a really tiny bit into each one. Like I said, it's not vitally important that you use it, but we'll just add a really nice kind of smooth mix into this as well. And definitely don't put too much in. Make sure you just put the right amount in. And then once again, we're going to mix all of that. And then all of these are ready and we can work on the dry ingredients. So I always say try and start with the wet ingredients. Get it all together so you know exactly what you're doing. And then we can go to the next step as well. Just make sure the glycerin is totally and utterly mixed in as well. Because it is quite sticky, you know, so just do make sure you're making it all done. So anyway, we've done all these. We will pop these onto the side, and I will get all of the next bit, which is all the dry ingredients, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing from then, and then we can mix the next bit. All right, I'm back, everyone. So I have my scales in front of me and my containers. So what we need for the first bit is 120 grams of bicarb. I've done this in a really small batch because a lot of people won't want a massive batch, and hopefully that does help you. So each color we're going to be using, we will be doing 120 grams. So all I'm going to be doing, like I said, is just popping my container on the scale. I have already torn out the scale so that we know exactly what we're looking for. I'm just digging into the bag of bicarb here. And then, of course, we are going to be popping it in. So like I said, we need 120 grams of this. And do make sure you try and stick pretty close to the measurements, because that can really change it. So we'll do all the 4 containers at the same time. So we'll just tear this one out. And once again, like I said, we need 120. So we will do each one. So that is number 2, number 3. And you know, you could do this with 6 colors. If you had 6 or 8 or 10 colors, just do as many colors as you want. It would be good too if you do put a sifter for this, but I'm going to be breaking it up with my hand, so I'm not so worried about that. To show you, and there's a bit too much in there, so we'll just take some out. Like I said, try and keep to the right measurements. Take that one out and we'll be on to the next. Once again, we'll tear the scale out again. My scale's not happy, we'll just turn it off and so every single one of these does have its 120 in it. And so now from here we are going to be popping in our citric acid. So the citric acid, we need to have 60 grams per each little container of the citric acid. So I'm going to just get it ready. So this is my citric acid that I do keep in here. And then I will be doing, like I said, you know, the 60 grams. So we'll pop this on, we'll tear this out again, and then we're going to be doing the 60 grams in this. Some people don't add in this until later, but honestly, I add mine in all the time. Like, I just add it all together because, you know, we're going to be mixing really fast when we put the water in. So just make sure that you're aware that you're going to be doing that as well. And the difference with doing these embeds in comparison to doing bath bombs, where, you know, you would sift all of this, you would even grind down your citric acid. I grind mine down. But the difference with doing this is the embed. To be really honest, no one's going to see it. You just want it to do its job of, you know, making it colourful and making it burst and making it fun. So we'll just tear this one down. And once again, like I said, this is going to be 60 in this one, just like we did in the others. All right, so now we are done with all of this. And like I said, if you want to put your SLSA in, you definitely can. I'll pop my SLSA in. If you're going to use that, it's just 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon per container. So, but anyway, we've got all of these ready. So let me move the scales and pop everything together, and then I'll come back. All right, everyone. So let's just do 1 container at a time. So in here, you can see that I have my, like I said, my SLSA, because I have popped that in. If you're using that, please wear a mask. It is extremely airborne, and it is really dangerous. You should wear a mask if you're working with SLSA. I put the smallest bit, and it is definitely underneath all of everything that you can see here. So I'm just crushing it up with my hands because, like I said, I didn't sift it, but if you're at home, you can sift it if you like. I don't worry too much for the embeds, to be honest. So just remember I will do a recap for you here. So in this container here, I have 120 grams of bicarbonate soda, 60 grams of citric acid, and 1 teaspoon of SLSA. As I said before, SLSA is a total optional thing, but mine will foam as well as do its little magic in the bath as well. So just to show everybody, this is exactly what we're going to be using. So we'll just do 1 colour at a time, like I said. And so we'll start here with the yellow. We've done this one, so slowly just add it in. Remember, your citric acid is in here, so it is going to foam and fizz. So just do a little bit at a time, because you may not need that full amount. And you can see here it is really yellow, and it's definitely mixing really well. And you know, you want to make sure that it's going to definitely squish together. And if you can see here with mine, it is definitely squishing in my hand and holding itself quite well. And so from here, all we're going to be doing is literally just popping this into the container. So if you can see that consistency, and I definitely didn't use it all, there's a tiny bit left. You could use it if you want to, but the amount of water and glycerin will definitely depend on the environment that you live in. And remember, we're going to be squishing this down and, of course, then popping it in the container. So we'll do every one, but what I do is do 1 at a time, squish it in, and then go on to the next. So honestly, just make sure you are prepared and you've got everything that you need. And make sure it's all mixed in. We'll probably just pop in the rest of that just to make sure that we have enough. And it will dry itself out. And this is really nice. And you can see it's holding its self. So that bit's done. And I will literally just pour this straight into here. I mean, you know, if you're at home, you may want to do more than this. And I might actually add more than the 4 colours, just so that we can have a really good embed. And then all you're going to be doing, honestly, is just pushing it down. You can use a cup to push it down or just your hand, but I'm just going to use my hands. Make sure it's super, super firm on the bottom of this. You definitely don't want it to be loose. If it's loose, it will not hold its form, and then it will just fall apart into pieces later on. And then you'll be so disappointed and upset that all your work and money, because it does cost money to make these, is ruined. So let me just push it down and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So we do have our first one in here. And like I said, that one's all done. And let's move on to the second one. So we'll pop that back on there. We know that we're finished with this. And I'm going to get the second one. So try and use the light colour, then the dark, because obviously my hands have yellow on them, and you know, you don't want to be trying to do a white or a silver if you're doing like a mermaid one. Anyway, and like I said, we will go on to the next. So I'll go on to the blue. Sometimes I do change my gloves in between as well, so don't feel scared to change your gloves. And then once again, we're just going to mix it all in. I'm sorry if the it's not bright as bright. The sun has come in and it has ruined my light in here. So unfortunately, it has definitely ruined my light, which is not very good, is it? But anyway, so like you can see here, the blue has turned out really, really good. And just make sure you mix all those little bits in. You don't want all those annoying little white, you know, bits of bicarb or whatever it is inside. And then I will just put the rest in. So I think, yeah, definitely put all the liquid in. This one is a good mix that I've done. I've changed this recipe so many times. And then this is definitely the best I've come up with to date. But, you know, everyone has a different idea, don't they? So just make sure it holds its form a bit, which it is. And then I'm going to pop that one into this one on top of the yellow. You don't need to keep drying time in between or anything like that. Just make sure that, you know, you covered the colour, because you don't want that it's not going to do its job as well as you want it to. So, like I said, just make sure it's all in there, you know, sort of covered, if you can see that. But like I said, I definitely will show you in between, and make sure your paper is not in the way, which mine kind of is a bit, so I have to just keep pushing it back so that it's not in the way. And I will probably change my gloves because this blue is going to interfere with my next colour. But actually my next colour is green, so maybe it's okay. But then I definitely will change it when I'm going to the red. And like I said, do make sure you really push it down and into all the corners and into the edge. So you can see it is definitely all in there. And now let's get on to the next. But I am going to wipe my bench because this is super messy. This is messy, messy stuff as well. So if you're doing it, try and do a good batch and then you won't have to do it for ages again. Anyway, and you can see just that is just the blue. So actually let me change my gloves because they're going crazy and get a new pair on. And like I said, definitely wear gloves. If you don't wear gloves, oh my goodness me, disaster. Because your hands will just be absolutely stained in numerous colours. So we'll get the next one. And like I said, that's my next one. As I said, I am going to change my gloves in the middle. And what I also do with this is I just have a look how high up on the tray it is. So on this particular box, you don't want it more than halfway because otherwise it's going to be too big to fit inside your bath bombs. Even if you have, you know, the big cloud that everyone's using, you don't want it too high. So honestly, I may actually just stick to the colours I've got, just the 4. Because once you start putting too many in, then of course it's a little crazy. Now I'm sorry you can't see with this one. I do know that it's a little bit high, but anyway, you know the drill. Just as we did before, we won't put the green and maybe we'll do the red because you know, we don't want to have blue and green together. It might look a bit funny. Like I said, do make sure you're mixing straight away. If you're not mixing straight away, it will start to activate because the citric acid is already in there. So you can see how bright and fun that is. And like I said, I'm so sorry about the sun, but the sun has come and it is a very orange, bright, sunny, crazy day here in Melbourne, Australia. And I do not know why it is so crazy. But yeah, you can see this is a real bright, fun red. But if I used the other particular red, which is the, oh, what's it called? I think it's called Citric red. I can't remember, but I will write it in the thing down below from Sud Off. That one's more hot pink. But I wanted it to be kind of fun and, you know, just this bright, crazy colour. Because I thought every little kid, or girl and boy, wants to see this, don't they? They want to see the fun colours. And you can see inside there how crazy and red it is. Once again, just as I said before, make sure you're not forgetting to push everything down and make sure it's even. You don't want to have it, you know, like a big hill on one side and nothing on the other, because then you'll be all disappointed. But once this is all done, then we will cut it once it's ready. Once it's ready, I leave it for about 10 minutes in between. So put all your colours in like I'm doing now, mix them all up, and then once you're actually finished, then what you can do is leave it for 10 minutes, then come back. And I will show you exactly what I do with it, and you'll see exactly what I mean with the 10 minutes that I'm talking about. And look how crazy that colour is. Stunning, amazing. So now I'm going to go to the green, of course. So I've done all of that. This is my very, very last one. And I know my hands are red, but that's okay because this green's very strong colour, so it doesn't matter. I don't want to change my gloves too much because I really feel that the environment, you know, we have enough landfill without a million pairs of gloves in it. But unfortunately, it's a part of making products, isn't it? We need to wear gloves. So anyway, so we'll mix this bit in. And like I said, if you feel that your mixture is too wet, don't keep adding it in. Stop and just assess it. Like you can see, I didn't put all of it in. And you can see mine's really bright. If you want one that's more pastel, then you can do less. But, you know, do remember this is inside the bath bomb. So you do want this crazy, fun kind of colour, you know, to be inside the bath bomb. And then we are done. And what I will actually do for everybody is at the end of this video, I will actually put this inside a bath bomb. So I will actually make a bath bomb with it in once this is ready, just to show everybody exactly what it's going to do. But I'll have to make the bath bomb tomorrow and then, you know, show you exactly what I'm doing. But I will actually pop that bit on the end as well. As you can see, it's holding nice and firm. And all we're going to be doing now is popping it straight in. So we'll pop this crazy, crazy colour inside and make sure it's all over the whole thing. We don't just, like we said, I don't just want it at one end. We want to make sure it is definitely in. And this one is going to be maybe that high. So I think that is enough for a rainbow one. Look, if you wanted, you could keep going, but you would just have to be using really, really big bath bombs for that. And I don't really do that. For me, my bath bombs, except for my mega bomb, most of them aren't that big. They're just a standard, you know, 150 to 220 grams, depending, because I do a couple sizes. But I also do like my flat ones. So these are really good in the flat ones, but you do kind of need a little bit of height in it as well, obviously. I do have a cloud one, so maybe we'll do a cloud mold. I'll have a look what I've actually got to show you tomorrow, and like I said, we'll pop it all together. Anyway, you can see this is all done. So we're going to leave this for 10 minutes. I'll come back and then we'll undo it and cut it all up. And as my daughter says, the most satisfying thing of all is cutting up this. And maybe she's right. She probably is right. Anyway, I'll come back in a moment. Hey everyone, I'm back again. So I've taken it out of its box. All I've done is literally just lifted it out because, as we know, we had the plastic bit on it as well. So I'm going to just move the camera down a bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And now we are going to get ready to cut it. I know it looks a bit messy and crazy because of all of the dye on the paper, but let me show you. And also I just want to show you something I did wrong. If you can see here, this bit of paper got kind of stuck in there, so then it lifted that bit. So like I said at the start, just be careful exactly how you're placing it down. All you need is a little knife to cut it. It would be good if this knife was in one piece. And remember, don't cut big chunks. So, but what I actually like to do is cut it like that and then cut it that way, because you don't need a massive big long piece in it. But if you wanted to do it in one long piece, all you're going to do is cut it like that, and then this is it. This got stuck in the paper, so that's why this bit wouldn't do it. But honestly, you need one good one knife, and one long piece would be better. And then if you can see that, I mean, look how cute that's come up. I mean, this is a primary color one, so obviously, you know, we've got yellow, blue, red, and green. And it doesn't matter how groovy it looks or not on there. And then all I do is pop it to the side. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Where's my little piece? He's up here. So, and then just pop it onto this piece, and then I'm just going to leave them sit there and dry. But this knife is no good. It's too small, so I'm just going to go and get a bigger one, and then we'll go from there. But even bits like this that weren't perfect, you can keep those. No one's going to see the inside, and just still stick it in to the inside, because all they want to do is see the colour. They're not going to see that. Even these crumbs, you could just put them inside one and it would just be like, you know, a crazy adventure of colour, wouldn't it? But like I said, you can also do it this way. So just literally cut through the centre and then cut each side piece like this. And then basically you're going to end up with that. Because, you know, you don't need a big piece. But like I said, this knife's no good. I definitely need a much longer knife. So I'll be back with a bigger one. All right, everyone, I'm back again with a more groovy knife. So, of course, this one is the right one to use. It is much bigger, so I'm just going to take that little bit off there. And what I do is just kind of like push it to the side a bit. And if you can see, I mean, I do have a little split in there, so this one will break into pieces. So I'll just pop these bits on here. And all we're going to do is literally just cut it straight down the middle. And if you see, that one is much better. So that's all you need to do. So it is really nice and easy. To be honest, I could have left this to dry a bit longer, but, you know, I just couldn't be bothered. So I thought, well, who cares? We're just going to cut it up, you know. But like I was saying earlier, if you cut it into pieces this size, and then basically you just slice it that way, because you don't need massive big pieces. So I'll slice them this way. And if my daughter Annie came in at this moment, she's 13, if she came in, I'm telling you right now, she'd be all over this like a smell, because she always tells me how satisfying it is to cut these things. So she would absolutely love it. But, you know, and you don't feel like you have to cut it in the same thing as everyone else. You know, do it however you like. And if I can tell you, this bit, the yellow bit has crumbled a bit. And the reason for that crumbling is, honestly, I should have put more liquid in it. And I did realise that as I went along. But I just thought, you know what, I'll just leave it. It doesn't matter. You know, like I said, doesn't matter. Don't feel like you have to have everything perfect, you know. I mean, if you were selling this, different story, but you know, and definitely don't be like me and rush to cut it. But I wanted to do the video for you guys, so I just thought, look, I'm just going to quickly do it. But, you know, my time again, definitely I would have left it longer, because it 100% should have been left longer. That's why I have a few of these crumbs. But that's okay. I'm just going to leave those, and I'm just going to pop them in the middle. I'll do a special bath bomb for my daughter who's 13. She will absolutely love it. She loves anything like that. She gets all the bits that I practice on, and she's the baby of the family, so she's lucky. So, yeah, as you can see, I mean, look, there is so many of them, and this is a really small batch that we did. There's nothing exciting about it. You know, but like I said, if I had left this to dry a bit, 100% this would have been really, really good. So this mixture is a good mixture. I've used it before, and it is really good. So there's lots of other different ones on YouTube. So see if it suits your environment. I mean, I'm in Australia where it's warm, so a little bit different for us to the rest of the world. But yeah, and that's all you need. You only need a tiny bit. So I have seen lots of people make massive long ones, but they're only going to fit in the big clouds. So for me, I want to put these in lots of different bath bombs, not just a cloud one. And what you could do is you could also cut this So I'll cut this one again. So you can even have this tiny little bit, you know, like cut them in different sizes. They don't all have to be really long and big, because you might want to put them, like I said, in different sort of shapes or sized bath bombs. But I'll give you a closer look in a second so you can see exactly what I've done and the crazy mess that I'm up to at the moment. I'm always making something look crazy. So anyway, hopefully you've liked this side. And like I said, I'm going to do a bath bomb in it. I'll bring the bath bomb so that you can see the amazing colour and my craziness of inventions as well. And when I bring the video, we're going to be doing this one here, which is the little cloud one. I've not used this before, so fingers crossed that it actually works, because I might have to cry if it doesn't. Anyway, I'll be back when we make the bath bomb tomorrow. See you then. Hey everyone, I just thought I would actually show you exactly what they look like. So these are my crazy ones. As I said, I did definitely cut them too early. So next time I will definitely leave them a bit longer. But that doesn't matter, because no one's going to see that, are they? It's just the colours inside them. And they're going to be so much fun to actually make. And then these are the crumble. So I'll actually keep that crumble to pop in the middle of some of the crazy fun bath bombs that I'm going to do. I'm actually going to be doing a bubblegum one, so I think all these crazy colours will make my bubblegum one just look so much fun. But anyway, like I said, tomorrow we will come back and we will actually do a cloud one, and then we'll also do, you know, round one. So this is the mould I'm going to be using. I think I actually got this one from Sud Off Australia, or I may have even got this one from Bath Bomb World. So I can't quite remember. I'll see if I can remember that one. But I do have quite a few different cloud ones that I've also bought, that I make lots of them, and they do sell quite well. But also the donut ones sell massively well as well, if you're thinking about that. Anyway, like I said, from here, this is looking amazing. So I'll come back tomorrow and we'll make some more bath bombs. See you next time. Hey everyone, I'm back again. I was going to wait till the next day. It is late in the evening, but I thought, you know what, these have dried and they're looking absolutely fabulous. So I thought, how about I just do the bath bombs now, and that way I can have a bit of a rest tomorrow. So I got my gloves on, rechanged everything, cleaned everything up. So I have my bowl sitting here, of course, and then I'm going to be doing 1,000 grams of bath bombs. Or be a bit more, actually, be about 1,600 grams, I think, roughly. So I've got all my ingredients here. So we're going to start, of course, put it through the sieve. It's definitely better. So what I'm going to be doing here is I have 1,000 grams here of bicarbonate soda. This is a food grade bicarb as well. You get all different grades, but this is the one that I buy. I think this one I bought from Heirloom Australia, about $60. For about 20 kilos or so, I think, roughly. But I will leave the links down below just to make sure, because I often forget. So just make sure that you sift it through here. You might have a better one. Usually, to be honest, I put all of this through an electric mixer, like a stand mixer. But for today, I thought I'll do it by hand, just so that everyone can see that even if you don't have a mixer to pop it through, you can still use this as well. So like I said, 1,000 grams of bicarbonate soda. Then I do have my citric acid. So in here I do have 500 grams of the citric acid. Once again, pop it through here. Look, in lots of recipes you'll see that they actually add the citric acid last. Of course you can do that, but for me, I never leave my I never leave anything just sitting, you know, there for a while. I basically pop it straight in and I mix it the second I put any water or anything in. So I know that I'm not going to have the problem of mine just, you know, going a little bit crazy. But lots of people will say, you know, that they get all concerned because they don't want, of course, this to swell and so on, which it will if you just leave the water in it. But if you're like me and you put all the ingredients in and then you do it straight away, you're fine. So I'll tip that in there. I know that's okay. And like I said, so I've got 500 grams here of my citric acid that is in here as well. And so now in my next little container here If you want to put Epsom salts, you can put 70 grams of Epsom salts. But if you're in an area that has high humidity, Epsom salts will attract water. So you do have to be really careful. I usually always put it in, but for this one I won't, just so that it suits more people. So yeah, so you can just leave that one out. So in here I have 30 grams of cream of tartar. If you don't know, cream of tartar actually makes your bath bomb hard. That is the reason that you actually pop it in there. It can just help hardening it, and also water helps hardening it as well. But anyway, we're just going to pop all of that in there for now as well. Then in my next container, in here I do have, there's a mixture of here. So I have 10 grams of milk powder. I'm using goat's milk powder in here. Then I have 10 grams of kaolin clay as well. So yeah, so I pop all those in. That's just what I prefer to use. Depends what you like to use as well. But like I said, for me, that's what I'm actually popping into mine. And I also have 10 grams of SLSA. And that's why I'm just carefully covering the top up, because SLSA is airborne. You do need to wear a mask, but like I said, I'm being really careful just to show you this video. But usually I would definitely wear a mask. So now in my little container here, I have a few things in here. So I have 2 tablespoons of my fragrance oil. Do make sure you check the amount on your fragrance oil that you are allowed to use. Some fragrance oils might say 1%, 5%, they're all totally different. But for my one, this one suits it quite fine. Then I'm also going to put 2 tablespoons of apricot kernel oil, or you can also use sweet almond. You can also use olive oil. Mine is an oil-based recipe because I don't like to have high water in mine. And then, of course, I've also got 1 tablespoon of the jojoba oil that I always use in my mixture in here. And I think I said already also 1 tablespoon of the water in here as well. If you are going to put a colour, but I'm not putting a colour today, but if you are going to be putting a colour into your bath bombs, then you would mix your water separately, okay? So that's really important. But like I said, today, I'm not going to be doing that. You can see it's fizzing pretty much straight away. So quickly, just mix it all in and you're fine. You can slowly put this in if you like, but I just pop it all in and mix straight away. And you can see that I do not leave it for a second. But if you're worried and you don't think you can be fast enough to do that, or you're learning, definitely put your citric acid in last. That is really, really important as well. And then just keep mixing and mixing around, because you want to just see how your mixture is. If you feel that your mixture is too dry and it's not holding, you can definitely add some more water. Or like me, I actually spray some witch hazel into this as well. But for now, I'm just having a quick look to see. And if you hold it in your hands, that is still crumbling a little bit. So it definitely needs a little bit more liquid into it. Although I was going to do this all just a plain white, I'm actually thinking now maybe I would do some of it white and some in a colour. So I'm just going to transfer part of this out. I'll just stick it back into here. So once you've given it a mix, if you want to separate the colours, you can definitely do that. So I'll pop that out. I do have a tiny bit left of the pink, so we're going to just put a tiny bit of pink. We don't want it crazy pink. We'll just give it a light dusting of this as well, which this is just water and some leftover dye that I had. And it's just going to be this really gorgeous soft pink, which how fun is this one? This one's just going to be so lovely and nice. So we're going to mix it up here. And I'm just going to go and grab some witch hazel because we definitely need it. The one thing with bath bomb mixture, don't make it too wet. If it's too wet, it will start swelling and it will activate and everything. Sometimes you kind of think, oh, it's not wet enough. This one is wet enough. If you can see that, it's definitely holding in my hand. So that one is 100% wet enough. We definitely don't want any more water in that. So I think that one's fine. But for this one, like we said with the white, it's not really holding. It is crumbling a little bit. but we only need the tiniest bit of water or witch hazel. For today, I might actually just use water so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but let me just go and grab some. So all I'm going to do is put a tiny bit in my container so that I can add that into this mix. Like I said, a real weeny bit, and mix it straight away. Don't leave it. And make sure you're getting right to the bottom as well. And for anyone that wants to know, if you sort of think, is bath bombs going to be a good seller? Some days near Christmas in particular, I can sell over 100 at a market. So I do sell a lot of bath bombs. For me, I used to sell mostly bath bombs. Now I sell a lot of bath bombs and candles. So candles are my biggest sellers. And bath bombs and soap would kind of be maybe next. So anyway, but they are good sellers, and especially at $6 for a small one. Most people grab one. And I often have people that grab $50 in one go. They'll just grab a whole heap. So, but anyway, just in case you're wanting to know, you know, what sells and what doesn't. And also, if you don't want your bath bombs to have a flat bottom, I actually pop them in this. All this is a cupcake tray that's silicone, and then I wrap plastic on the top. So that way when you sit them, they'll float on this plastic. But I will show you that after. So now we've got all of this together. We'll move all this rubbish out the way because we just have a bit more mess. So let me just clean this up. And for anyone that wants to know the scent that I've used in this, I've used one that's called Gojo Berry, and that's from Pure Candle Supply. So I will actually make Tim from Candle Supply one of these. Every now and then I make my suppliers one if I'm using their fragrance. It's nice to just share, isn't it, to help out. So now for this program, I'm just going to use these, which are just my basic one. I do have also a hand press that I also use, but for today we'll actually use this. So if you're going to put the colour embed in, just put a tiny bit of powder at the bottom. You know, this is just a little piece that was off the coloured ones I did. We'll just stick that in the middle, so that's all it's going to be doing. And then we're just going to pop this just like that. So I'll pop that bit, the same as this, but put a little bit at the bottom. You can put a piece of that in. If you have any of the crummy bits, like we did here, remember we had a few of the little crumbs, so we're just going to pop that one on the top. And we'll just do this. So all I do, don't push it hard with the bath bombs. Just fill it up to the top, push them together. And this is all you're going to be doing, is just pushing them, twisting, and just rubbing around the outside like that. Make sure they're nice and tight together. Hold them tight. And just to show you what I'm doing, we'll pop this down here because I'm going to be popping it onto this. And all I do is literally just get a pair of scissors or something, just tap around the outside. If it sticks to here, you know your mixture will be too wet. So that's actually a really good thing to show you. And it happens to me all the time. We always make mistakes in them, don't we? But if you can see how pretty that one looks, it's just your basic one. And then just give it a little squeeze at the bottom, and ta-da, it's off. And it's looking amazing. And then all I do is just literally sit it on here, so then the bottom of it doesn't get flat. So that's literally all I'm going to do. If you're going to be doing one of these ones, so let's have a little go at this. You can get some glitter or something. We'll just spray the bottom where the cloud will be because we want to make that bit white. So you can see it's just got a bit of glitter. And then if we're going to be using this white bit here, sorry, I've got stuff everywhere. Just get something like this. Make sure you keep mixing it. Don't just leave it sit at the bottom. Give it a bit of a stir. And we're just going to put like a little bit here at the bottom. So in white. And, you know, at the top here, I want this bit to be pink. So the top of my rainbow, I'll just do that bit pink. And then we're going to be popping one of these inside. So this is all you're going to do, and literally sit the rainbow in the middle. And then once again, we will fill up the top. So I'll fill up the bottom in white as we did before. Fill up the other bit in pink. And that's pretty much it. And then what we do is we want to pack it in tight. So just pack all your colours in. And literally this is all we're going to be doing, is just squishing and squishing around to make sure, you know, we have all this in. I've been doing bath bombs for quite some time, for anyone that wants to know. And at the start, honestly, it was so frustrating. They just kept breaking, crumbling. I was so upset. And then I just thought, look, I have to just test for myself. So I started mixing with oils mostly. And honestly, I can have my bath bombs sit there for months and they don't go soft. If you use a lot of witch hazel, it will make them soft and not hold their form. So you've got to try not to put too much in them as well. And also, a lot of the problem is not packing it tightly. So you can get a spoon or even one of these and just, you know, like go along like this to kind of make sure that they're 100% in here, you know. And then just give it like this. So if you can see, it's packed nice and tight. Let me clean this little bench just for a minute, because I have bath bomb mixture absolutely everywhere. Bath bombs also, for anyone that wants to know, it's a messy business. So there's definitely no neat one. I'm going to get a board to put it on so you can see. Now, I usually wouldn't put it on this, but this is just so I can actually show you exactly how it is. So all you do is you're going to turn it upside down, and you can see here my little cloud. Look how cute that looks. All you're going to do is give it a few very light taps. Don't tap it too much. If you tap it hard, it will literally crack these ones. The little plastic ones crack real easy. So that's the one thing that I'll say. And then you kind of give it a little squeeze, and ta-da, look how cute that is. So if I can show you, and hopefully I'm not going to drop my little cloud. But yeah, the cloud is totally on here and all ready. So that looks really cute, doesn't it? So, and then we're just going to set that aside. And like I said, I'm going to be doing the other ones as well. So you just kind of keep repeating what you're doing. Like I said, just put a little bit of white, a little bit of pink. And then just keep going with however you want your mixture to be. And you don't have to put, you know, a big rainbow one. Don't think you've got to have this massive chunky thing in, because if you look at this, if I push that, it's too close to the top. So I know that one's too big. So just find ones that work for you as well. But once again, we'll pop that in, fill it up, and fill it up with the white at the bottom as well. And we're just going to pack it down nice and tight. If you have sanitized your benches like I have here, you can pick up the crumbs and just pop them back in. Don't feel scared to do that. As long as your environment is really clean, you can definitely do that. But if this is just for you at home, you probably doesn't matter to you too much. But if you're selling it, you need to be extremely clean, and do write down everything that you do. So you need to keep a record as well if you're selling it. I just have a basic, I'll show you my exercise book. I've got stuff everywhere here at the moment. So this is basically all I do. I have it all in a book like that, and it just tells me exactly what I'm doing. And then each of these will have batch numbers on them, so I know the day they're made and my process for the whole embed. So that's really important for you, just to keep your own records. Even if, you know, you're selling at a market or anything wholesale, really important, like I said, just to keep everything so that you know exactly what's happening. So, like I said, we pushed it in nice and tight, and then once again, we'll just use this little board just to pop them on. I will not, I won't take these, you know, I won't paint on them or do anything like that for at least 2 days. So try and leave them for a couple days. And once again, like we said, so then we got 2 of them there. So they're all done and looking really gorgeous. You know, and you can paint the rainbow if you want later on. All that is just rubbing alcohol and just, you know, mica or liquid dye. That's it. So I'm going to keep going with these ones that I've got right here. And, yeah, and that's it. That's it. So hopefully I've helped you along and showed you exactly my whole process. of what I'm doing. And when I've finished, I'll bring you back and show you everything else. But otherwise, we're done. Thanks so much for listening. If you think my video is worth a thumbs up, make sure you don't forget to give me a thumbs up and any comments. And hopefully I've helped you guys out. I'll leave all the recipes and some links down the bottom to help you out. See you next time. Thanks for watching. All right, everyone, just the last bit of the video. So here you go. I thought I would show you exactly what we've come up with. So then we do have our beautiful clouds that are sitting here drying. This bit here was just a spare bit that I had. And then this is another way you can also do the embeds. This is just a little ice cube tray. And so all we're going to do is just push them up. And then if you can see, that's all they're going to be looking like. So this is just half pink and half purple. And you can definitely do that and then just pop them in a little container. So yeah, so I'll just pop these ones and I will show you one other one that I've done. This was just something I was playing around with, but I thought I would show you. It's just a great idea because, you know, if you had a really big bath bomb, that would be a really great one just to sit in the center. And also this is another idea. So these are just cubes. So you can actually get these little ice cube trays. And then all we're going to do is literally just push the tray up. So then you've got your little cube coming out of the bottom. That's it. And then we are all done for today. And we'll definitely see you next time. Bye for now.